Hello everyone! Today's video is about the 5 best alternative tips for Warzone. There are many videos out there that offer a plethora of hints and tips, and many of them, in my opinion, are kinda quite obvious and contain stuff you already know. So I thought I'd make a video of my favourite alternative tips you may not have heard, but are incredibly useful. I guarantee following some of these tips that I'm going to share with you will increase your win percentage. So let's get into it, shall we? My first tip that I'm going to share with you is my personal favourite for turning the tide of a match. This is where to land after the gulag. So you've escaped the shackles of the underground lair that is the gulag, and now, somehow, you've been thrown out of a plane again. Where do you go? You want to get some weapons, maybe some cash, bring back your teammates or buy a loadout. Maybe a quiet little village on the edge of the map. No one would land there, right? Wrong. This is where most players think to go. Now my suggestion is to pull up into the air, just for a moment, and open your map, and assess where there are clusters of contracts left. In these areas, it is highly likely people haven't looted it yet, and it's clear to drop there, since they haven't picked up the contract. Simply swoop down to these areas and start looting. Of course, keep your wits about you, but chances are you'll have enough resources to get back on your feet and increase the chances of you getting into the end game and getting that win. Just before we go into the second tip, can I just ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel? It'll take you 2 seconds and I would appreciate it a lot. Okay, now on to the second tip. This is a subtle one, but is definitely useful. The heartbeat sensor is the most common piece of equipment used on Warzone right now, but did you know that when you get it out, for the first second or two, it tells you if someone is on the mini radar or not? If someone is going to be on the radar, then the distance meter will tell you. If the meter distance doesn't come up, just put it away and be more prepared for a gunfight or to reuse it. It only saves a couple of seconds per use, however, this could be the difference between living and dying. So next time you whip it out, keep an eye on the meter readage, because if nothing's on it, then no one's going to come up on that radar. My third tip for today is to know the times that loadouts drop on the map. This ensures you don't waste your own money on a loadout drop if one is about to drop in, say, 10 seconds and you don't mind taking the risk going to get it. It can also give you a good chance in the game again if you've been revived or won the gulag. You can just hang in the air if you know there'll be a loadout drop coming within the next minute or two, and then simply swoop down and go and collect your loadout and be prepared for endgame. So there are 2 free loadout drops that drop per game, and the times you need to know are 15 seconds before the first circle finishes closing in, and during the 5th circle about 45 seconds before the gas actually starts moving inwards. Having these times in your head can literally win you matches, so utter them to yourself in front of the mirror as you start your day, or when you're making a cup of tea, or even making love. Just know them, start getting your loadout more, and start winning more matches. The fourth tip. We're sticking with loadouts for this one. Don't worry, it's not going to be as straightforward as telling you to run Ghost, but it's close. In some instances, when you go to claim your free loadout drop, I bet you choose your weapon and just have 1 clip in it because you have no ammo. Maybe you've just been revived or come back from the gulag near the endgame. Sound familiar? Well, to combat this, make a copy of the class you like to run most, but change one of your 5 slots for a perk called Fully Loaded. This allows you to spawn with max ammo, and actually gives you a chance by allowing you to shoot more than 1 person at a time. Can you imagine that? This allows you to be endgame ready immediately, and is a must-have to actually compete in the endgame, and, most importantly, you guessed it, to start winning more. The final alternative tip I'm going to share with you is the ability to use your cluster strike much more accurately. To pull off the 100% accuracy trick with the cluster strike, players must start off by aiming their gun down the sights or optics or scope, whatever you've got, and look at the desired strike location. Once the destination is pinpointed, Players will then equip the cluster strike and instantly trigger it, without looking away of course. This will make it so the cluster strike drops on the exact spot the players were aiming with their gun, so the strike itself is now super accurate. This essentially makes the cheapest killstreak's weakness a strength. A further positive of the cluster strike, on a side note, is that it can be called in at any time, and doesn't get the airspace full notification come up. It can be used with other cluster strikes on your own team as well if you want, and by having an incredibly accurate cluster strike, you can finally effectively get rid of those people you've downed miles away with your sniper, or pop it on a squad that's pinning you down without wasting your kill streak and risking your life by going out of cover to try and go and get them. Okay, that's all of the alternative tips that I wanted to share with you today. I hope they are of at least some use to you and get you more of those elusive wins. If you've got any interesting alternative tips that aren't included in this video, please post them in the comments below. I'm always interested to know what you guys have been up to. But that's all from me now. Stay safe everyone. See ya!